got to do it again. Now
Why?
you're ready. Now we're
What?
live.
All right, no intro. Here we are. Couldn't get it. So, welcome back. I'm here. I've got Lisa here.
Hi.
And if you hear somebody talking, we've got one of my old cooks here that I've worked with for a long time. It's Finn.
Hey, I'm
Even
Finn.
Way
So,
before Farow.
Finn's here. Welcome, Finn.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And sweet guys, we're live, so please, if you have questions, ask away. I'm here for you. Today we're going to be doing some spiced pork chops. We've got some seared vegetables and a mushroom ketchup. It sounds weird. There's no tomatoes in it, but it's really tasty. So great with pork and veggies. So yeah, learned something new today. Cool. So one thing is whatever veggies you've got for your CSA or whatever you picked up from market, whether that's your turnips, your radishes, maybe you got some broccoli, bok choy, whatever you have, we're going to use it. So no issues there. And yeah, and whether you got bone-in chops, boneless, you're good. So yeah, let's get going. I'm going to make the spice rub for the pork really quick. So yeah, cool. We're going to do a tablespoon black pepper, let's see if I can open this. There we go. We're going to do a tablespoon of ginger. This is ground ginger here. I always just kind of mix everything in my hands. We are going to do a couple.
At least move that over here where I'm not like staring at your back the whole time.
Yeah, I guess so.
That'd be cool.
Right up here. A couple tablespoons of this delicious coriander. Let's
Gosh, your
see.
board looks so pretty right now.
Yeah.
All these colorful, vibrant things on there.
Let's see. I can ground this up really fast and then mix in my.
So is this a spice blend you came up with? Is this like specific to a certain region or type of food, or?
No, I wanted a like ginger kind of pork rub for this to kind of pair with the mushrooms. I just thought it'd be a nice contrast with everything.
Cool.
For the pork. Just kind of a simple mix up here. I don't know if I necessarily came up with it or not, but we're going to put in a tablespoon of this ginger powder. Not ginger, garlic, sorry. And then we got some smoked paprika. You can grill your chops if you want to do smoked paprika, regular paprika. I just like the flavor of that chili with the smoke.
Smoky pepper.
And the burlap smoked paprika is super smoky and I love it. So, you remember these from the restaurant?
Oh, I remember those. I also remember learning that I didn't know what paprika was made from. I have a feeling I'm not the only one. So
No.
Chef Pat, what is paprika made from?
Pimentone peppers.
Yeah, it is.
And there are Spanish and Hungarian varietals. Yeah, no, burlap definitely has some really solid paprika. Even their sweet paprika is delicious. I just love all their spices. I can't even pretend.
Yeah.
So whenever we're doing spice blends, I never put salt in the blends. I always just directly season the meat and then apply the spices after. I just like that because it's better, a lot easier to control salt levels on everything.
Yeah.
So
Same thing with me with baking. I always use unsalted butter and put my own salt in because I like to have control over how much salt goes in there. You really don't know how much you're getting in a slice of butter from a salted stick, so.
no. Because I'm sure every brand does it slightly different.
Of course they do.
because everybody has an opinion on what's good.
So do you guys use unsalted butter usually then? Okay,
Always,
that
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, I never use salted butter ever.
We've got these awesome Buckner pork chops, of course.
Oh, they have the best pork chops ever.
And, you know, they're
so
at the
delicious.
Lafayette Market these days, so please, if you're down there, you can get them in person. They're also in City Park in Denver.
Shankini's got a question for you.
Yeah.
She wanted to know what the difference is between garlic scapes and spring garlic.
Yeah.
She got garlic scapes in her box this week, so she's trying to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah, garlic scapes. So, I don't even know if we have garlic.
We have a very beat up clove or
Oh, that's
head of
okay.
garlic in there.
It's okay. So the scape. Nope. I already got rid of it. Anyway, when garlic bulbs are whole and it has like that shape that comes up to this, like, there's always this like pointed part. So the scape grows out of the center of the garlic. That basically is the plant. It's like green life cycles coming to an end and it's going to flower. It shoots up that neck.
Okay.
That's the scape. They're really good for like the first couple weeks that they're there, and after that they get too woody and chewy. But you can use them. I would chop them as thin as you can, but you can use them the same as you would like the spring garlic and everything.
And they're still kind of like the same flavor and everything.
Yeah, it's going to be more mild
Okay.
because it's not you're no longer eating like the bulb itself. It's an offshoot. So it's going to be a lot more mild, but it'll still have garlic flavor to it.
So the scape grows out of the center, and then
Yep.
the green garlic.
So the scapes will appear out of the center of the green garlic. That's just how it grows. But that signals, like once the scapes come up, nobody's pulling garlic out of the ground anymore, because that lets them know that there's an actual like bulb starting to form underground. So then they stop pulling it and they let it go to full size.
Okay.
Yep.
So using the green garlic now is just kind of a way of like thinning the crops.
Basically, that's the whole point. It's because you never know what's going to sprout,
Yeah.
like officially.
Oh, I know.
So
I
you
put a bunch
plan
of
on-
seeds.
And then once you got stuff coming up, you go through, thin out your garlic. That's what the spring garlic is. Personally, if I grew garlic, I would just pull it all now. And just not deal with curing it and everything later. But that's me. So let's get salt on these really fast.
Yeah, I know. I grew like a bunch of things from seed this year, and not a lot of things wound up coming up. Some of them are really delayed too.
Yeah, a lot of times it takes warmer days. And
We've really not had a lot of them here, which is kind of crazy since it's like the first week of June already, and we're still getting like 60 and 50-degree days and like rain and gray cloudiness. It's really unusual for this time of year.
Now, Pat, I remember working in the kitchen, we only ever used kosher salt, and it was very fine kosher salt. Now, as a normal civilian, not having access to bulk salt demands or supplies, I can only find really, really coarse kosher salt.
yeah.
So, like, do you get the same coarse kosher salt and then grind it up to be finer?
No. So the finer it is, the more likely. Well, I can't say that. So Morton's kosher salt is denser than diamond crystal, so it's easier to over season with Morton's. But the finer salt that we were using for a while, I was buying it because it was from Utah, and I was trying to be like regional for everything we did.
Yes,
so.
you were.
And so we even had a Utah sea salt from the salt flats.
That's cool. That's cool.
But no, I mean it can vary, right? So if you get super fine salt, it can be hard. It can be easier to over season stuff. It's like you just have to be careful with salt in general. I feel like.
Yeah, and whatever you
But-
do, don't buy iodized salt.
Yeah, I was going to say, never use iodized just
No.
because of the flavor.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's the worst salt there is.
So
Yeah.
why do they even have iodized salt then?
I don't know.
Because what was the thing? They said you needed iodine in your diet
Yeah.
to prevent what?
I mean, iodine supports your thyroid, so it might support thyroid health or hormone health, but you can easily get that from other things.
It came about, I believe, like it had to have been around World War II or World War I.
That tracks, yeah.
And it was just one of these like things like fluoride in the water, and
Yeah.
you know, all these things that are supposed to be beneficial that probably weren't after you learn more about it.
Yeah.
Or like irradiate, like back in the day when they found out radiation killed cancer, they were just like, let's irradiate cigarettes, then you won't get cancer from them.
Yeah, great idea.
Oh, it turns out that makes it worse.
Well, and like
So-
irradiating spices. Another reason why we use burlap, because who needs that? You gonna tell us what you're doing over here? You're over here just working away and
Oh, my bad.
not telling anybody anything.
So we salted the chops, right? I sprinkled salt, and now I'm generously rubbing them up with this spice blend that we just ground. And there we go.
Can you move your broccoli out of my way?
I mean, yeah, I can.
Appreciate
You
that.
want that? There you go.
That's great.
So these are ready, salted, then rubbed down, and I'm just gonna put them over here to hang out. Yeah, and we're gonna make this ketchup here. Just an interesting technique, so don't be intimidated. I'm gonna make it as easy as possible. So, let's get the spices off our hands really quick.
Well, and mushroom ketchup. So tell me a little bit about that, because I don't think most people have ever even thought about mushroom ketchup before.
No, and it's
Where did this come from?
so it's from Asia. So it's like kind of the OG form of ketchup. Ketchup is a sauce. It's a sauce with sugar and vinegar. You know, the most common in America is tomato ketchup, but in the Philippines they have banana ketchup. And
I think they have mango ketchup.
there's mango ketchup. There's a lot of ketchups, but we just see kind of here is the tomato variety. It's great, but we are going to make this version.
Emma's hoping that these pork chops are going to renew her faith in pork chops.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
She's
As
had
long
some
as you
bad
get-
pork chop experiences, so.
As long as you get Buckner's pork chops, you can't
Yeah.
go wrong.
Well, you know, and if you don't live here and you have to get pork chops like from the grocery store, I think the easiest way to make sure they're okay is to just brine them. And you do like a 2% salt, 1% sugar to water solution and soak your chops in it. Helps them retain moisture. Because like pork chops are like the easiest thing to dry out. They're like a chicken breast or worse.
Yeah.
You know, if you overcook it.
It's horrible.
So like we're gonna pay attention while we're cooking them.
Yeah.
We're gonna use a thermometer, nail the temperature, make sure they're nice and juicy and all that fun stuff. So
If I don't have a meat thermometer, how do I like not
Man.
fuck this up?
you're gonna have to guess. You can touch it, but unless you've cooked a lot of meat, it's near impossible. Like we even use them at the restaurant, even if it lends yourself to making it awesome every time. So
Yeah. And back to that brine solution you talked about, how long would somebody leave the chop in the brine
12
solution?
hours.
12
is
hours.
Ideal.
Ideal.
If
Okay.
you
What's the minimum? If someone's like,
Let's say 8.
Okay, 8? Okay.
If you're like, if you wake up in the morning and you're like, I forgot to do it. If you do it first thing in the morning for dinner, you'll be fine. But like, you really need that full.
Okay,
like
but
12
like
hours is ideal.
if someone was like, oh, like I'll just throw it in there for an hour, that basically does nothing.
Does nothing.
Okay,
It needs time, like equilibrium process.
makes sense.
So like the 12 hours is genuinely on like a inch cut with all that surface area, inch thick. 12 hours is usually good. So, all right, let's fucking do this. So, pot, sugar. We're gonna do 2.5 tablespoons in here. Okay. So
It's what, 3 baby handfuls?
Well, I'm like eyeing a tablespoon.
Yeah.
So 2.5 tablespoons. So all we want to do, this is called a dry caramel. We're just going to make it light. It just helps add flavor. If this is like really intimidating for you, you don't have to do this. It just adds a layer of flavor because this is like an umami, like it's incredible umami bomb because there's sweet and savory mixed with the shoyu and the caramel and the cider vinegar, and you get this like it's pretty sweet.
Pretty easy to make.
No, it is. I think it's intimidating to.
Yeah, I think when we did mushroom ketchup at the restaurant, we had tempura fried oyster mushrooms with it. Does that sound
We might
right?
have done it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times we
There's
did like
so many
seared
menus.
bok.
Yeah.
We did like seared bok
Bok
choy
choy,
a lot
okay.
with it because it's just a great, and like grilled broccoli with it is great.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you know, that's why I was doing this because it's the shiitakes lend themselves to like spring veggies so much.
You want to tell everybody what you're up to?
Yeah. So what you want to do with your shiitakes is just kind of remove your stem because this is edible, but it's really tough. So
yeah, it's
like
kind of woody.
it just takes some processing if you're going to eat the stems on these. Like you'd want to chop them and roboku them like through a food processor. It's better off if you're going to make a stock or something, these are great for that. Just to kind of get some flavor out of them but not eat them. And these are from this guy's awesome. His name's Justin at Microcosm. He's usually at a lot of the farmers markets, good people. You know, he's been growing mushrooms for 5 years now outside of Castle Rock area. So, yeah, pretty cool. We use them at the restaurant a lot. And, yeah, what we're doing, we're just going to, because we're going to throw these in and we'll cook them down after we kind of make this light caramel. So
I remember when we made mushroom ketchup, we one day were short on mushrooms, and so we bulked it up with mushroom powder.
yeah, yep.
Mushroom
So
powder's awesome.
dehydrated shiitakes, you know,
Yeah, don't dismiss those. Powder them up and put them on your steak.
they're good and they go great and stuff. If we were just blew through something and we have to improvise a lot at the restaurant, but
A lot of improvising.
Well, the problem was you just never knew what was going to sell. One day something
Yeah.
would sell like crazy, and the next day it wouldn't,
Yeah.
and something else would sell
Yeah.
like crazy. So
And-
you like stock up on the one thing that you thought was going to sell more, and then
and you know,
Yeah.
dried shiitakes, that's more of a specialty thing. You know, to find those, they may or may not have them at the grocery store. You might have to go to like especially like Asian market to find
Yeah.
dried mushrooms. So,
you can usually find them in an Asian market.
but fresh shiitakes you can get everywhere. So it's kind of like use these if you can. You know,
So-
once you rehydrate these from dry, it's the same thing pretty much. So.
And I know you're using shiitakes because they're in season right now, right? Like, because you're getting this.
Well,
from
mushrooms
local-
are in season all year round.
Oh, because
they
it's
just
the
cultivate
indoor.
them inside,
Yeah.
so.
And so are shiitakes your go-to mushroom of choice, or?
Especially with like spring veggies, because the flavor profile of these is like unique to this mushroom, and I feel like it just lends itself to this like spring veggie application so well.
I wasn't paying attention for a second. Did you tear all your mushrooms up, or did
Like
you
I just
pull the stems off?
you know, I pulled the stems off and I took the bigger ones and kind of ripped them in half. Just to make it easier, the smaller caps I kind of left whole. It's not.
Just trying to make them all around the same size.
Yeah, kind of. So when we throw them in, we're gonna put the soy sauce and the vinegar in. So yeah, if you're cooking right now, this is the 9 ounces that I took the stems off of. We've got 2.5 tablespoons of sugar in the pan, and then we're gonna do 3 tablespoons of soy, 2 tablespoons of the vinegar. I'm using cider. If you have white
Smells
wine,
like your caramel's cooking. You might want to check on that.
Oh yeah, it's ready. There
Sorry,
you go.
I know that smell.
And how do you know it's ready?
Because it looks like this. What do we got?
The overhead.
Overhead?
Yeah, you better get something in there to stop that from cooking because it's going to keep going.
We're going.
You can't mess around with caramel.
Oh, it's just golden brown, basically.
Yeah.
And then, what? 3 tablespoons of soy. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll do a couple tablespoons of this vinegar. 1, 2.
I think that was more like 3, but
And we just give it a good swirl. You can turn that down a little now, kind of to medium low. We're just trying to get the mushrooms to release their water and cook a little bit.
And so I know you're adding the vinegar
Wow,
to
it smells
deglaze
so good.
things.
What's
I know you're adding the vinegar to deglaze the pan, right? And for flavor,
Yeah.
does the
gives it
soy do the same thing?
nice acidity? Soy is also good for deglazing in this. It's just all for building those layers of flavor. So,
that umami.
man, you can just smell it.
And was the order of soy before
Oh,
vinegar
either.
important, or either
You're
or?
just adding it in,
You
And
could
then
have even
immediately you
pre-mixed
can-
it and thrown it in.
Immediately you can turn it down and just kind of let those mushrooms simmer and cook a little bit.
Yeah,
And
it's
then-
important when you're doing the caramel to make sure that you have something ready to deglaze it with or start to cool it down because sugar will keep cooking and it will turn black and start smoking before you know it. So that's the only kind of scary part about that, just paying attention to it.
And when you're caramelizing the sugar, are you doing that on low heat, medium heat,
I did on medium high.
medium high? Okay, you
Just
just
to
have
get it
to
done.
be more observant when you're using higher temps.
Yeah, I mean she smelled it. It was there. If
I
I
know
would have
that.
waited
I know
another
that's.
minute.
I know that smells so well. I can tell exactly where it's at by
Yeah.
smelling it.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh, with caramel, yeah, you want to always make sure that you use like high heat. You want to get the sugar there like as quickly as possible. Especially if you're doing a wet caramel, you want to cook it on like ripping high heat. Because you want to get the water evaporated out of that as quickly as possible. It
Okay.
like reduces the chances of it crystallizing on you.
Okay, so that's what you're worrying with if you do it on too low of a heat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to.
And once it crystallizes, like nothing you can do about it?
With caramel, you can kind of get away with it. You just have to kind of like break up the chunks back into the pot when they like start to boil, like when it starts to turn like caramel colored. If you're using it for like confections and it's like a lower temperature than when the sugar caramelizes, then yeah, it's fucked.
Okay.
Yeah. My little trick for making sure that it doesn't crystallize on you, first off, just try and use clean white sugar. So don't use like organic sugar or anything that still has like some of the brown sugar, like molasses residue on it. But second part of it, like as an insurance policy, is put a little bit of cream of tartar, like a little sprinkle of it in the sugar water when you like go to turn it on, and the acid in that helps it not crystallize.
Interesting. And so I'm guessing that, like, I'm imagining myself the first time I tried to caramelize sugar. I actually remember this. I ended up crystallizing the sugar, and I was like, I'm just gonna throw like more sugar in here to try and it didn't.
Yeah, no.
That's not a good solution to the problem.
Definitely not. So
Yep.
what happens is it sets off a chain reaction. The chemical makeup of the sugar changes when it crystallizes like that. So it's not the same form of sugar that it was when you put it in the pot. And it creates like this chain reaction across the whole pot. So any other sugar that it touches, it like turns it into its crazy form.
Gotcha.
Which is why it's like borderline impossible to use it regardless of what you do to it. But caramelizing it seems to just like melt it all down. You can
Yeah.
kind of get away with it there, but yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep.
You are the resident sugar expert.
Yes, I know a lot about it.
And so, Pat, what are you doing over there? You're cleaning off any of
Yeah.
the dead.
Just looking through, we're going to keep the greens on our veggies. So if you have turnips, radishes, even if you're radishes, you know, a lot of the organic veggies can have some bug holes in them. It's all good.
That's actually a great sign. You want to see bug holes.
You know?
It means that things are organic and that they're clean.
And we're just kind of, I'm
the
picking
bugs
off.
still want to eat it, then it's a good thing.
Picking off yellow leaves, picking off the little root tail on any turnips or radishes you've got. And yeah, we're going to leave the greens on. I'll give these a good rinse in cold water as well to get off any extra dirt. And you can see, so these I just had in the fridge. They're looking a little wilty even after just a day. So it's always good to just put any greens or anything with greens in like a bag or something. Just helps them stay nice a little longer. But
I also did have those out on the counter for a little while yesterday, photographing them, so they didn't really get in the fridge right away. Could have been my fault slightly, but
either way.
they were so pretty I couldn't help it.
Either way. Sorry.
So I know one thing that I fall victim to is whenever I go to the farmer's market, I buy too much produce because I'm too ambitious, and so then my vegetables, I'm like, they're starting to turn in the fridge.
Yeah.
So if you just have a medley of different vegetables and they're about to go bad, is there anything you would do just to like preserve them? Would you just throw them all in the oven and roast them, or?
Yeah, so it depends on the veggies, obviously, because like some things lend better to pickling and preserving than others. Like if you try to preserve radishes or something, it can get really like kind of farty. Is the best term I have for it. It's just, it's just how it goes. They're cruciferous, and I know you did like a turnip jam once, which really combated that.
This is true.
Which was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was really good.
Yeah, that was. I was very lucky. That was beginner's luck there.
And Shinkini, yes, it is just a plastic bag for storage. You could use like a grocery bag, those little plastic bags you get at the grocery store, any of that stuff.
And I turned off the caramel.
Okay.
Do monitor those, if you're cooking along, like monitor the reduction levels you're getting on that liquid. You don't want it to dry out. If it gets too low, just add a splash of water back in to make up for it. And once we start pureeing it in the mixer, we might have to add a little water just to get it smooth, but we're going to play that by ear here in just a minute. But the mushrooms are cooked.
Oh, it smells so good in here already.
They're done.
Even if you didn't make anything else. I feel like you've been on a little bit of an Asian food kick here lately too, so lots of stir fries and noodles and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of channeling your Bahachi days.
It's always good.
When you're cooking noodles, are you still making your own noodles at home, or?
It depends. I did a live stream where I made pasta live.
Nice.
That was
And
fun.
like, the whole meal was done in like an hour.
Yeah,
Pasta and all.
Yeah, no,
like,
that's
start to
impressive.
finish. Yeah,
That's
it was
impressive.
great.
good time.
Shrimp and asparagus.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes, I don't want to, we'll go and get like a local, like pastificio or something. They use good flour, so
Yeah, they use heirloom grains. So they
I
do
feel
like,
good about eating their stuff.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know, like, they go to farmers markets and they see heirloom this, heirloom that. Like, what does heirloom mean?
It typically is going to be, well, heirloom, literally, it's kind of like family heirloom. So it's literally going to go back to usually a specific family that grew that varietal a long time ago. And then they just saved the seeds and kept it going. And it's like, it was a commonplace back in the day where you could, like, each family had their own variety of, like, tomato or their own, like, you name it.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of them have disappeared now.
Well, yeah, we have actually lost 90% of the varieties of vegetables that we used to have to commercial farming, which is why you get the same basic stuff everywhere you can go. And there's not a lot of varieties. So there are a lot of like companies like Seed Savers that are reaching out to people across the country that if they like have some kind of crazy heirloom seed that they've been holding on to like help them continue to like propagate all of that, and then they also sell a lot of their heirloom seeds so that you can like plant them and hopefully get them out. But they do a lot
Very
of
cool.
seed saving. They have like a whole seed bank there and everything.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad that we gave up so much of it for the sake of convenience or crops that, you know, yield
Yeah.
higher things or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
It's just
commercial
yeah.
farming
So
screwed a lot
whenever
of
you
things
see
up.
heirloom, if it's a true heirloom, it's usually goes back to some family that kept that crop. Like it could have been locally or just an individual person. So it's pretty cool if you really dive into some of these seeds. But
Plus, I feel like they're like more flavorful a lot of times too. I don't know if it's just the way that they're grown, but can you talk about what you're doing over here?
I'm just cleaning up broccoli.
Well, how do you clean up broccoli? What are you doing?
Well, for this specifically,
I've never seen anybody cut broccoli the way you're doing it right now. So
okay, well, for this specifically, I want to sear these. So, you know, if you were going to grill these, sear them, whatever, nice stems, throw them on the grill, eat them up. I'm just kind of cutting.
Are you making like a flat end on the?
No, I'm just kind of cutting along where the broccoli florets branch out from the
See, if I was cooking that broccoli, I would have just hacked it off where they all meet.
Well, you don't, like some people don't like the stem. I'm not saying you have to do
Yeah, I'm
this.
not
but,
usually a big stem person. I like the tops.
I don't mind eating the stems at all.
But you're still cutting off kind of that base first inch or two of the stem because that's woody, or
No, just little pieces here and there to, so it's kind of all the same size and everything. Then when you get to here, nothing you can do. So just kind of quarter the head or whatever, like so. Sweet. All right. Well, with the mushrooms, we can throw these in our blender really fast to make it smooth. It really came out to be a really small amount. But
and what made you feel like that was ready to start blending?
oh, well, the mushrooms are fully cooked, and that's all you're looking for.
We could have just pureed it right after we took it off the heat, right? Like
Yeah,
technically.
we could have. Alright, so I'm gonna get just a little water.
Reduce
So we
it a little
can-
too much.
What's that?
Reduce it a
We
little
just
too
need
much.
a little water to help it blend. So just a touch too thick. So
And you're using water instead of oil. Why?
I just want to. I don't really want oil in it. That's all.
So not everybody would necessarily have to.
It once you start blending it, you'll know because you just want it to run smooth in your blender and get as smooth as you can. So then we're gonna taste it for salt, just to make sure it's good. Always.
I remember you telling me a story about when you were in culinary school and you learned about salt for the first time.
Yeah.
Do you remember that story?
Oh, I do.
Do you want to share that with the class?
I sure can.
Because I think,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
When I first started cooking, didn't even really know what salt was. Just because I don't really remember our family using it really when I was a kid. Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea. So I was just cooking a lot and not putting salt in anything in school. But I was always into like ethnic flavors and everything, but I never like used salt until I was in class one day and the chef tasted my food and he asked me if I had put salt in it and I said no, why? And he went and grabbed salt and he made me try it was a Moroccan spiced lamb rack. And he made me try it without the salt. Then he took a slice and sprinkled salt on it and made me eat it. And it was just like one of these like aha moments that yeah, I just made sure to taste everything after that. So
Yeah, because salt just enhances the flavors that are already in it.
it was like very profound. And yeah, it's great, man. So we're gonna.
Now he puts tons of salt in everything.
Well, I just like the taste of it.
I do too. I'm not. That wasn't a knock on you at all. Trust
You
me.
like salt more than
I
me.
love salt.
So
Probably because my adrenals are fried most of the time.
we have these awesome radishes with tops. You should have some turnips maybe, or even if you're doing some bok choy. If you got bok choy, quarter it. If you got some broccoli, do what I did here. Turnips, same deal. You could have bigger turnips. It depends on where you're at with your food box or whatever's happening. So yeah, we're just chunking these up into pieces that are they're gonna look great. We just want them a little smaller so they cook evenly. And cool.
Looks like your little helper was just checking in on you.
Yeah.
Now, Rufus, you just
Here.
Do you have, what's your favorite top 3 vegetables?
Ooh.
Is that even possible for you to answer?
Yeah.
golden oyster mushrooms.
We'll have to take. Listen, I'm gonna count tomato because it's savory
Okay.
as a veggie, not a fruit. Because that's up there for me. Like just raw slabs of heirloom tomato with some salt. It's pretty amazing. I think peppers are up there for me. Specifically like frying peppers.
Like shishitos.
Shishitos, Jimmy Nardellos are an Italian frying pepper.
Oh my god! Or in the fall here when they start roasting the peppers at the farmers market.
Oh, dude!
You go out there in the morning and it's cold and we smell the roasty peppers.
Yeah, it's another
the
one of
best.
those moments where you show up with a little flake salt, and you open a bag of roasted peppers, and you just eat it, dude. It's
so good.
and then
Asparagus,
number
probably.
3. No, number three.
Yeah, I guess imagine you're on a desert island and these are your 3 vegetables you get to bring with you.
Oh my gosh! Now we're in the desert.
Well, an
No,
island.
just an island, a deserted island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Shinkini said she got Hirosaki red turnips today. She wants to know if those will work.
Yeah. Dude, I don't even
Never.
know. I don't even know if I know what those are.
Yeah, me either.
They've got to be. How big are they? Let me know. They probably are like this, right? Just let me know. They're like golf ball or
How
bigger.
big? Show do it again with your hands.
No, like golf ball size, or if they get bigger.
Okay.
Just let me know. And if they have tops, I would love to know if they have tops. But
What was your third one?
I'm thinking maybe hawker eye turnip.
Yeah, they're really good.
You can't go all summer veggies, then you starve to death. So.
What about sugar snap peas?
They're good, but
Oh, those peas you made last
I
night
know
for dinner
it's
were
hard.
just awesome.
So, ketchup's made. Let's get pans going so we can cook this dinner up. And
So you got the grill pan and the flat top. She said yes, there's tops. She said they're
Nice.
about golf ball size.
yeah, they're gonna be great then. So,
They're white and pink
Nice.
on the inside.
Cool. That's awesome.
So I see you turned the heat on your pans.
Yeah.
Now, I know pan heat is kind of a mystery to a lot of people, especially my age. So, like, how do you know when the pan's hot enough to start cooking in something?
Oh, the easiest way to do it, before you add your oil, very important, before, you just take a little water and spritz it on your pans. And if it sizzles, put your oil in and start cooking.
Nice.
That's but if you put your oil in first, it's going to start popping everywhere. So,
Ball been there.
No,
So-
don't ever put water in hot oil.
yeah.
That is
So
the
just
worst idea ever.
always just do the little, you can spritz it with water first. If it sizzles, fucking go to town.
Nice.
That's the best, easiest way to do it.
Okay, don't do the, like, let me touch it with my fingertips. Ooh, that's hot.
I mean, you
Definitely not the smartest way to do
honestly,
it.
if you want to smack it a little bit, I don't know.
Hope you build up that tolerance on your fingers.
No, I don't know. The water's the safest and easiest
Yep.
thing to do. But if you went and put oil in a cold pan and started heating it up, I wish you all the best. So.
Well, I mean, you can tell though with the oil too, because it'll start to ripple. Like you see it starting to get those like wavy sort of things happening in the oil. So, I mean, I feel like you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not be like full on as hot as you need it, but like it's not cold anymore
Yeah.
at that point.
So, that being said, we can do it. There it is.
There it is.
So, we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and get little neutral oil in here. We always try to do the avocado. The restaurant, we use locally grown sunflower oil, so just because.
And so for people who don't know, like, what's an example of a non-neutral oil?
Extra virgin olive oil.
And so that just means it imparts its own flavor onto things that you might not
Yeah, and it's got a
necessarily want.
much lower smoke point, and usually if the oil has a lot of flavor, it's going to smoke at a low temperature, essentially, because it's cold. It's like the nature of the oil.
How about coconut oil?
Coconut oil is a saturated fat, which automatically makes it great for sauteing.
But it's not neutral.
It's going to add flavor if you want that. I just wouldn't want that in most. I also say neutral because a lot of times I don't want the extra flavor added in.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you're doing like Thai food or something though, or like Indian food,
Well,
coconut
and then-
oil would be really good with that, wouldn't
Well,
it?
yeah, but then I would say like, hey, use some coconut oil or something.
Yeah, there was a period of time where you and I did the paleo thing for a long time, and we cooked everything in coconut oil, and it was it got to be a lot after a while. I got tired of the flavor of coconut.
Yeah. So, greens and all.
And this is what happens when water hits oil.
Yeah, quickly. Boom. Cool. So really, I'm gonna hit these with a little salt just in the pan.
And this is such like a fancy, nice way to like present this too. If you're like cooking for family or friends or whatever, having a dinner party, or you're bringing this to a
Yeah.
barbecue or something, like
And they're good grilled. Like even the greens, if they get
a little charry.
even if they get a little charry or crispy, you know, it's almost like eating kale chips or something. It's not.
Yeah, especially if you're like getting it charry with oil on it.
Yeah.
It's like deep frying it almost.
And, you know, we're going to do the broccoli the same way. Just got to throw it on. You could oil it before if you're grilling it. It's probably the easiest way to do it. Because if you go and sprinkle oil on your grill, it's just going to catch on fire. So,
And if someone wanted to, like, roast the turnips instead,
Sure.
is that...
high heat in the broiler, I always recommend at home. Broil on high. Oil them up, throw them on a baking sheet.
If you got an outdoor pizza oven,
Outdoor pizza oven.
I don't know who has that, but I would like to go to your house.
Or one of those uni ovens.
actually
you
the
know?
Sleepics are working on building one.
Well,
Dan's
they're a
building
special
one.
breed
Yeah,
of
they
people.
are. Dan built like an entire wonderland of things out in that yard, dude. It's crazy. So
And
what are
so-
you doing right now?
Oh, I'm just kind of moving the oil around my pan.
Okay. What were you gonna say?
Oh, well, so I remember when I saw your guys' last place you were living in, and now I know you've moved, I see you have a gas range.
Dude.
Was that a deciding factor in moving into this
I mean,
place?
it definitely didn't hurt. Just like the location, the cost. This is brand new construction. Like nobody had ever lived in here before.
Okay, but
know,
you
we had
weren't
this
like,
huge kitchen island. Like this,
Yeah.
like couldn't have been more perfect for the two of us.
but it wasn't like this is a must-have. Wherever we live, it has to have a gas range.
I
No.
think going forward, that's going to be. A
That's
rule.
gonna be okay.
I don't want to go back to electric after this. I really like having this.
So you can
The hood vents on.
see.
I think you need to turn that up a little bit. My phone's starting to get choppy, so it's probably getting too hot.
Well, what do you want?
I'm just telling you what's happening.
I don't know. You could see these leaves are getting golden brown because they're just searing up.
They're frying, really.
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
frying over here, so that's fine. And remember these, like, all these veggies we're grilling up are really good even if they're raw, so we're just kind of, I'm just going to get a good sear on a couple sides of them and then pull them off. And do another round, and we'll kind of go through them. Probably set off some smoke alarms.
Oh, please don't.
I don't know, we might.
I'm gonna open the front door just in case. Make all the neighbors jealous.
They're gonna love this.
Are you being a good boy?
And
over
I don't
there?
know what everyone else's method is for when you start smoking up your house, but personally, I like to get a towel and then just.
We have definitely smoked the place out a time or two. Well, and the smoke detectors in this place are super sensitive.
Oh no,
So
okay.
they don't tolerate it well at all.
I think in every place I've lived, my smoke detectors only lived on the ceiling for a couple months before I just took them out.
Yeah. It's super annoying. Well, and then they don't want to like shut off, and once one goes off, it sets
Yeah.
all of them off. So it's just, there's a plastic bag over the one down here.
So it looks like some of your turnips are starting to get a little golden brown. Am I seeing
Yep.
that right?
Yeah, I just want to get a good sear on a couple sides, and they're good raw, so we're gonna pull these.
Man, I wish we had the grill.
Oh, these on the grill would be so good.
That would be the move. I would make this whole meal on the grill.
Yeah.
I mean, really, if you want to go outside and hang out,
Yep.
are you going to put a little more oil on that pan?
I am. Yeah.
Do you have all of these pans on high heat?
Medium high for both.
So I know the chops have been on for a minute. What are you looking for before you decide
Yeah,
to
so
turn
we're
them
just
over?
gonna actually check these out. Looking for a good sear here. And then we're gonna flip.
Do you want like those grill marks and a little
Yeah, and if you're
char on
grilling
one
them,
side?
if they stick, that means they're not ready to good. They stick on the grill, they're not ready to turn yet. Wait till
Yeah,
they
don't light it.
naturally release.
Yes. They will eventually naturally release if
Unless
it's done
you
right.
just, maybe not always, but
Most of the time.
90% of it.
And are you ever scared of a little char on things when you're cooking, or do you like char?
As long as it's not Parmesan cheese, and there's a few things that just like get really bitter,
Yeah.
but most of the time it's fine. Sweet.
Oh man, it smells so good in here.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and do a quick temp. Pork chops. You want to go against the bone, kind of like lower third of the chop. And we're at about, looks like we're at like 95 right now. So we're gonna pull these at 130, 135-ish in that zone. So that way they can carry over cook and not be dried out, ideally.
So you always pull your pork chops at 135 for those that have a meat thermometer that are like cooking along?
Yeah. 135 is a great temp because pork is mid-well or like technically cooked at 145. So that like heat transfer once you pull it off, and then the hotter, like if you're cooking on a grill at 600 degrees, you probably need to pull them at like 130 because that heat's gonna, the hotter it is, the more it'll penetrate through after you take it off.
And Shankini, to answer your question, the wine tonight is Litterai. We have a little Litterai Pinot Noir. So this is from California. It is super delicious.
It's probably my favorite red wine.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
Yeah, I think it's like slightly natural. It's a little crunchy, but like it's good.
Crunchy. What do you mean by crunchy with wine?
Like if you think about biting into a grape that has super snappy skin, like that sensation, I get that from this wine a little bit.
See, that's one of the things that makes sense once you say it, but I would never think of that on my own.
Totally fine. I've tasted a lot of wine in my life. Yeah, but like you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
though.
no, like it
'Cause you
makes total
almost
sense.
Get
Yep.
that like green, like of the skin, like then that tannin and that little
Yep.
bit of like bitterness almost. But
Yep.
It's
But it's still like that refreshing burst at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's like beautiful acidity, and yeah, it's not a bad flavor necessarily. It's just it's a little crunchy.
Now, Pat, I'm imagining myself, maybe somebody at home, has made this mushroom ketchup.
My phone needs to cool down. Can you take it down,
Is
please?
it hot?
Yep. Stick it in the freezer.
And let's say maybe they've oversalted it. Like they've just crossed that threshold a little bit. Is there
Ooh.
anything that they can do to revive that? Or with any type of puree, really?
So it depends. If you went in blind and seasoned it, like while it was in the pot, and let's say you started to blend it. If you like, if it's over seasoned, you could add more water to like kind of dilute it down a little. But if it's already the consistency you want, you have to have more of whatever you pureed into it a bit.
Okay, so if they had extra mushrooms, they could just go over that whole process again
Yeah.
and then just bulk it up. Okay.
And Emma, to answer your question about what wine pairs best with pork, I usually like something a little on the lighter side, but it depends kind of like how you're cooking it. In this instance, I would say like Pinot Noir, Barbera, something that's kind of on the lighter side. You know, if you're doing something that's being paired with something a little heavier, I think you could go with like a Syrah or something a little richer. But yeah, Pinot Noir would definitely be my pick here. And I mean, even if you're doing something with like mustard and like butter sauce and like that kind of stuff, I would say like, honestly, Alsatian Riesling, a dry version, would be fabulous with it, or Pinot Gris. And then for something like really rich and buttery, if you're like doing pork chops and mashed potatoes, I would say like Chardonnay all day. Just a little kiss of oak and
Is this
a little
thing
mallow,
working?
and it's perfect.
Can you pull this up?
No, it's still. Wait. Oh, it's back.
because I just wanted people to see when
Yeah,
you're,
that's fine. You just melted
So
it.
when you're
What do you want me to
temping-
tell you?
no, when you're temping meat. Can you see the thermometer?
Yeah.
So we're here, kind of near the bone.
Stop shaking it so much.
I'm trying not to. So if you poke all the way through, you can see it's shooting way up.
I
Then you-
can't see the whole thing.
What thing?
There you go. Right
So if you poke through, it'll shoot up on you. Then you want to slowly kind of remove the thermometer until you start to see it go down. And then if you know, if you're looking for like 135, you kind of have to play around with it until you get there.
And I remember when I was learning how to temp meat, I fell victim to the like, I'm looking for 135. So I stick it in the meat and I just see the number 135. I'm like, oh, cool, I found it. Like, I'm good. But I was temping the wrong part of the meat. And so a little confirmation bias
Yep.
on my part there. So definitely play around with it till you feel like you've tested all the different parts.
Oh no, it's so true. I didn't see you put the broccoli on over there,
Yep.
so
We just threw it on, drizzled some oil,
you can probably put my phone back up since it's working again.
and
Or unless it felt really hot while you were doing that.
you know, we're almost there. I turned the heat down a little.
I'm just saying it might be okay to do now.
So then, I'm gonna pull these, let them rest up.
So how long are we letting it rest?
Let's see, it probably took 10 minutes to cook all that,
Do you
so
mind showing them underneath the
we're
overhead?
gonna rest these up for 10 minutes, 5 minutes. And then the broccoli's getting some nice char. We're gonna flip them. You know, I wish we had the grill going, but it is what it is. I mean, I like broccoli raw too, so turn the grill pan off. This is kind of cooking on medium heat for now. And then we're gonna do a little plate up.
Man, those pork chops look great. Will you put my phone back up, please?
Oh yeah. How are we doing?
Looks great.
Looks great. Cool.
So you got that little bit of char on the broccoli,
Yeah, trying to.
and that's why you flipped it over.
Yeah, I flipped it. Let it char on the other side. Honestly, like a grill would be nice so the heat hits the whole thing. But it's all good.
And so I remember learning from you, like, you always roasted or cooked or did something to your vegetables, and you're never eating them raw, because that just completely changes the flavor profile. And so,
Yeah.
like, what happens to the vegetable when you, like, introduce it to heat and cook it?
Well, the first thing is the cells start to burst, causing it to release the water. And then the Maillard reaction, which is the
The browning and
The
the,
browning
caramelizing of things.
adds a nice depth of flavor to stuff. That's why I really prefer the super high heat. Like the higher the heat you can apply to cook the veggie without mushing it, is the better, in my opinion. Because you just get another layer of flavor involved.
Shankini wants to know if she grills the vegetable, if she should toss them in oil before she puts them on the grill.
Yes. Yeah. If you're grilling, always just put everything in a little mixing bowl or something. Oil and salt it, and then put it on your grill to help prevent like all the flare-ups and stuff. But these are nice. Broccoli's almost done. So we can go ahead and build a little plate up here. It's really fast.
Surprised I didn't.
So if you've got nuts too, we're gonna put nuts over top. We're gonna do what I want to do with this. The ketchup itself. We're gonna make a nice base for everything, so it's easy to kind of swipe everything through this sauce as you're eating. So we're just gonna coat the bottom of the plate here with it.
Oh, this is gonna be so good with those pork chops.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason I picked Pinot for this is because we had the mushrooms going with the pork too. So like it's kind of a more earthy umami kind of thing, and mushrooms and Pinot Noir are just like a match made in heaven.
And then what we want to do, we just kind of want to place a few radishes on the plate in the sauce.
It's so fancy.
Dude, I'm just super happy about this.
That's
so.
great. I love it.
I just remembered I'm gonna get to eat this.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
So, greens are here. We're gonna take the broccoli, kind of do this with it, nice, and just make a nice base. And then we'll take a chop.
These are bone in, right?
These are bone in.
But you don't have to do bone in for this, right?
No, whatever you got. This is for. You could put this rub on a pork loin roast and do a whole loin and just slice it down.
A pork loin is where the pork chops come from, right?
Yep. And we're just going to take this. So they rested. These are lighter in color. It's really hard to see, but it's like a perfect medium well.
Yeah, and I mean, when you have good quality pork like this too, I mean, there's nothing really to be afraid of.
Trichinosis has been gone since the 80s, so that is the main worry with pork.
Yeah, it's just outdated information and worries about things. I mean, in general.
They vaccinate for it now, so it's
Yeah.
like gone. It's been eradicated from pork.
They
Now it's in-
vaccinate the pigs for it.
Yeah, now it's in wild bear,
I don't know how many
predominantly.
people are out there eating wild bear.
There are a few. I can
There-
think
mean,
of a
there's-
couple.
There's some.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, the
We're
average
gonna-
person is not eating
Yeah,
wild
this
bear.
is true.
It's
Take
not
this
something you have to worry
beautifully
about.
sliced pork chop, put it on the edge here, you know. And if you wanted to, you could put the bone for display. I don't know, it's kind of dumb, but if you wanted to, you could. Cool. So we got the plate, chops, seared veggies, all really good. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I feel like
pretty-
we had a lot of conversations about
Kind of a unique
kinds of
take on,
random things.
you know, with the mushroom ketchup here with the spring veggies, but you know, if you end up making this one, it's gonna be really good. So
Yes, and get a good bottle of Pinot Noir for it.
yeah,
You'll thank
but
yourself for it later.
yeah, well, thank you so much for being here, and as always, if you got some good value out of it, please like and subscribe. It really, I'm just trying to help as many people eat seasonally and locally as possible, and this kind of helps push it out there. So, but
Well,
yeah,
this is a nice creative way to like do something like pork chops and use a bunch of vegetables that maybe you got in your box, you know, but you're not just eating it plain.
don't forget your nuts.
Oh.
Adds a great texture. Little dry roasted peanuts on there, almonds, whatever.
Anything, it doesn't make a difference.
Dude, put some nuts on there. It's great.
little extra crunch.
Yeah. So, cool. Well, yeah, you guys enjoy the rest of your weekends, and I will see you next week for more delicious food. So, cool.
Thanks everyone.
Yeah.